Alrighty, let's hop in the plane. So, I'm gonna show you the 4 different ways to turn an aircraft. So, what are the 4 ways to turn an aircraft? First you have the standard turns for VFR and IFR flight. And then you have the steep turns, abnormal turns for VFR and IFR flight. In case you don't know what VFR and IFR means, it's quite simple. VFR means visual flight rules. That means you're looking outside, you see the horizon, you see how high you are, and you can determine where you are just by looking outside. You don't need any instruments. You use the instruments as backup, for example airspeed and to maintain altitude and stuff, but you really fly just by looking outside. Now IFR, you don't look outside, or maybe you can't look outside because you're in clouds or in fog, so you only have your instruments to determine your position, your attitude, your bank angle, your speed, whatever. So just like in real life, we're going to start off with the VFR flying. Standard turns. Standard turns in VFR flight are made using 30 degrees bank. That's the first thing to remember, 30 degrees, not more. Then you have to pull up slightly, like you learned in the theory. And third thing is you have to roll out soon enough. So if you, show you an example, if you want to go, let's say left 90 degrees on an eastbound heading, you have to roll out before you reach 90 degrees. And the rule of thumb is you take your bank angle, which in this case is 30 degrees, and divide it by 2, gives you 15. So you have to roll out 15 degrees before reaching the eastbound course, which would be 105 degrees. So let's see if it works. So turn off the autopilot and slowly bank the aircraft on 30 degrees while pulling up slightly. Watching the horizon, watching the altitude, watching your compass. And 105 degrees, we slowly start our rollout. Now we're more or less on a eastbound heading. That wasn't too bad. Alright, the second kind of turn I want to show you in VFR flight is the steep turn. Steep turns in VFR flight are made by using 60 degrees bank, which is quite steep actually when you're sitting in a real plane. It's kind of scary. So, and once again, we have to watch our horizon. Here's 60 degrees. That's where we want to go. We have to watch our altitude because we have to pull up really quite a bit to hold the altitude. We have to carefully watch our compass because it's going to turn really fast. And we have to watch our airspeed because it's going to drop. So when you're doing steep turns, when you're passing 30 degrees bank on your way to 60 degrees bank, you have to increase the throttle a bit. Let's say to about 80–85%. And it's important that you don't forget to cut back on the throttle once you pass 30 degrees again on your way to 0 degrees. But let's see if I can do it. Now the pilot is off and we're starting to bank. And we're banking and I'm pulling and passing 30. I'm increasing the throttle. And more bank and 60 degrees. And if you have a look at the joystick, I really have to pull hard on this one. So we're going to fly a full circle. So 30 degrees prior to reaching eastbound course, I'm starting my rollout. So at 120 degrees. So I'm starting my rollout. Passing 30 degrees, I'm cutting back on the throttle. And I kind of overshot there. But that is why we practice this stuff.